Yes, it's the afternoon. We're already in the afternoon. Good afternoon. You're tuning in to the Board of County Commissioners Appointed Directors Meeting. It is Wednesday, March 9th, 2021. It's 12:01 p.m. This is a virtual meeting. For public attendance, you may follow along on the Thurston County YouTube channel or join by calling 360-252-9020, PIN number 1234. The agenda for today, it's appointed directors open forum, and this is just an update from all of the directors. And I got a little help coming up with the question today. I was trying to think what was happening in March. So the consensus was, what are your plans for spring break? And the first on my screen is Kurt. So Kurt, we'll start with you.
Okay, thanks. So I'll start off with the spring break. During COVID, the last 2 years, we had 3 trips scheduled to Florida that we had to alter or cancel, which from our daughter, who's 11, was obviously a trip to Disney World was amongst all that. And so we had to keep saying, no, we can't do it now. And we get close and go, okay, we have to change. So spring break, we're actually going, and we've already got tickets and everything to go to Disney World. And she keeps looking at me skeptically, like she's watching the news. She goes, things look too good. What's going to change? I'm like, don't look at it that way. Unfortunately, I think our kids now look at things skeptically, but that's what we plan on doing. We're plan on enjoying Disney World. I'm not sure if her mother and I will enjoy Disney World as much as she will. I think we're just going to be keeping up with her. But that's our plans for spring break. And the other pieces of this are an update real quick. From a public health perspective, everybody's heard about the masking changes. I've had some departments and offices inquiring about when is the masking requirement going to change for the county. And the county's position is that waiting on the LNI revised requirements because LNI has requirements that are already in place for a workplace perspective. So we're going to continue to follow the current requirements until we receive the new requirements. We anticipate those to come in this week, but just keep in mind for all of the directors that certain sectors are going to still need the mask. Healthcare sector is an example, long-term care facilities, congregate care situations. So there will be some areas that are still going to be required to have the masks in place. And then also the federal emergency declaration for the pandemic has been extended until July 4th. But also because, everything, the numbers are moving in a positive direction, we're seeing a scaling back of vaccination requirements, of testing requirements. We are also at the same time scaling back on the IMT requirements over the next 90 days. We've talked with the county manager and assistant county manager over our plans for how we're scaling that down as we go from a pandemic to an endemic. And I think that the phrase we're using is coexisting with COVID is how we're looking at as transitioning over the next 90 days. And so other than that, that's about my update for public health and social services, and of course, filling vacant positions as they are out there.
Thank you. Any questions for Kurt?
I feel like we're missing Jennifer Walker because she always asks all those questions.
I'm like, Kurt, I do have a question for you today. How is, or I'm not sure if this is more for Ramiro. I was going to ask about the director posting and how that was coming along.
I can tell you that it's posted. It's posted through March 27th. Will be posted until filled. First round of applications will be reviewed, I believe, on March 27th or 29th. Correct if I'm wrong, Maria. And then it's been done a wide dissemination. It's on the county website, and there's a wide dissemination. I've definitely sent it out to everybody I know. So it's got hopefully a wide dissemination. I'm not sure on the number of applications that have been returned so far.
That's exciting. Thank you. And it's exciting that you're going to Disney World. I definitely enjoyed Disney World over Disneyland, but I'm just a little bit biased. So have the best of fun. Okay, next on my screen is Patrick O'Connor.
All right. Well, thank you, Commissioner. Good afternoon, everybody. No plans for spring break to travel anywhere. I'm actually traveling next week back to my home state of Georgia, and specifically Savannah, to participate in a O'Connor family, 4th-generation family tradition of being part of the St. Patrick's Day Parade there in Savannah, which is really a lot of fun, and I haven't been able to do it for a handful of years, so we're looking forward to that. But I'll be around in spring break. Just don't ask me to cover anything for any of you. I'm just kidding. I'll be here. So right now we're obviously, just like probably every other office and department, awaiting the next guidance from the county on masking requirements. It's really sort of teasing out the details of that, but I don't think that'll come. Obviously, there's a lot of questions from staff about that, but for me, I'm looking forward to that. I think we're all looking forward to being able to shift back with some more in-person hours, depending on the positions. Specifically to public defense, we're looking at that and excited about that opportunity because of the duties of the teams that we have here and trial work beginning. So last week, Superior Court opened back up to trials. We had 2 trials go out, and trials are going out this week, and District Court starts next week. So sort of part and parcel to the work that we do here is trial work, and then having staff available throughout the work week when things come up, as they do in that type of work. Other than that, just continuing to recruit. I'll just lift up a couple challenges, I guess, and I don't know if other officers and departments are experiencing this as well. It's a challenging time to recruit for us, at least with recruiting defense counsel to vacancies. I'll tell you, we are actively recruiting some potential candidates from out of state. And one of the things I noticed in the Olympian this morning, I highlighted an article. I didn't read it. I just saw the headline about housing prices here in the community reaching a new high. And one of the things that one of our prospective candidates is looking at is obviously the housing market here. And I think for those of us who've lived here a long time, we sort of lose touch on the housing market, and it's really competitive. So anyways, continue to recruit, and hopefully we get some new candidates here pretty soon. So we need them. I think that's all I had to lift up today.
Thank you so much, Patrick, and have fun. Any questions for Patrick? No. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Next on my screen is Dennis.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm with Kurt. I'm actually supposed to be going to Disney World that week too. So maybe I'll see you there, Kurt. My kids are, like I said, more excited. I think I fall in the same boat, more excited than I am to go to Disney World anyways, but yes, we're supposed to be heading.
Sounds like you guys both won the Super Bowl or something.
Well, you know what? They told me I was the interim director of public health, and what are you going to do? I'm going to Disney World.
So other than that, project updates, the website project is in full swing. I just had a meeting before this, and that project is moving along. It'll start picking up a lot more steam and having a lot of folks around the county participate in that. The permitting project, we have let me make sure I get this term right, apparent successful vendor. That means we're not locked in, but we do have an apparent successful vendor for that project. So that project is moving along as well. We'll enter into negotiations and go through that process and then bring it to the board. The ERP project, we're still working through some change order requests and some scheduling issues, but the project is moving forward. That's a fairly big one. And then some of my staff are also very engaged in the Atrium project move. So we're working on that, planning that to get make sure everyone's connected and whatnot. We're also feeling the hiring struggle, Patrick, but we do have a final interview for our new project manager position after this meeting. So that's, if that works out, we'll have another PM on board. But most of our positions have been taking a significantly longer to fill. So I do feel your pain on that. And then other than that, just normal operations, keeping everyone up and connected.
Thank you, Dennis. Questions for Dennis?
Not a question, but a huge thank you from CPAD and the other permit planning groups. That this has been a long time coming. Really appreciate the support from the board on the permit planning database. and then Courtney Wilson's great work in keeping that project moving forward. This is a watershed moment that we've been driving towards for at least a decade. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you, Dennis. Yes, it's exciting. Any questions? No? Well, have fun at Disney too. Okay, next on my screen is Josh.
All right. So for spring break, we had committed to taking our daughter when she turned 10 to the Disney of Democracy, Washington, D.C. She's now 11, and our son is old enough, so we're all going to D.C. My wife and I have spent 6 years there, so we have friends, and it'll be good to go back and have that experience. So that's what we're doing for spring break. Everybody's excited. We haven't had Disney as an option, so they're super excited about D.C. In terms of CPED, you just heard the IT stuff. Thank you again, Dennis, on the project for the database. That's a huge deal. The HCP is underway. We've got those 3 big initiatives within the HCP. The codes and ordinances are working their way through the Planning Commission. It sounds like they're on target to continue that process, and a public hearing, I believe, on April 6th for the Planning Commission to receive input from the community on the implementing codes and ordinances. And then it'll come to the Board of County Commissioners thereafter. And then we've got the actual permit from the federal government. We're hearing good things on that. The solicitor of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has had their questions answered. The prosecuting attorney's office, Travis Burns in particular, has done a great job in communicating with U.S. Fish. And then the third part is the land acquisition. We continue to have a bit of a struggle with that. The market is hot right now for real estate. And so we were working great with Kidder Matthews. I got to tell you, they're extremely responsive and an excellent outfit to work with, but the real estate market is tight right now. And if you'll recall, we couldn't actually start that land acquisition process until we had some indication from the federal government that we were going to get a permit. So we weren't able to really start that until December-ish of 2021. And we need to have it complete as quickly as possible to implement before the June beginning of the next Gopher review season. It's a tight window. Kidder Matthews has been great, but it's a heavy lift. So there'll be more on that to the Board of County Commissioners, but I want to make sure that expectations are measured as we go forward. And then if in CPED, we're doing what's called the CDIs, the Clearing the Decks initiatives. So we're cleaning up all of our website information to be prepared for 2023. We're getting rid of as much paper and stuff within our file cabinets to be prepared for the atrium move. We're cleaning up our database and backlog to be prepared for the transition to the new permit database system. And we're working with the central services to clear the grounds out at the fairgrounds to prepare for our future building group out there, the Agplex, in the coming years. So those are our Clearing the Decks initiatives. That's what 2022 is all about, is making sure that we're prepared for the coming years and setting us up for success.
Thank you, Josh. And I hope you have a great time in DC. Questions for Josh?
Josh, can I steal that Disneyland of Democracy line for my kids? I like that.
Bet. Definitely. It's not trademarked like Disney.
Uh-oh.
Do you want me to send an email to the point of directors group?
Yeah, I wish you could fix them. Increasing the money for everybody's.
Hi.
I'll send that.
from 25 years ago, and I'm assuming that hasn't changed. But a year ago, he sent me a text. He's 11 years old. He sent me a text that says, "No one will take me to Disneyland. Will you, Grandma, when COVID's over?" And I said, "Sure." And now I'm locked in.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? We lost connection. So
Yeah.
Yes, we hear you, Romero, and we see you.
back live. So we're having issues on the connection here in that room 280. We're working with IT to resolve that. So Madam Chair, if we continue to have issues, we may have to reschedule the 1 o'clock briefing, just to let you know. And Commissioner Messer will not be able to attend that briefing anyway. So just give you a perspective. So sorry, go ahead.
Perfect. So we're back live?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so next on my screen, I see Maria.
Hi, everyone. Well, I don't have traditional plans for spring break, but I have not been to see my family in Puerto Rico since February of 2020. And when I got back from that trip, like the same week, we were having meetings about pandemic response. So I have been looking at airfare. It is probably 3 times more than I paid back then. So if I can find an affordable flight, I will definitely head back and see my 86-year-old dad that I haven't seen in a couple years and connect with the rest of the family. In terms of work, I did want to mention and add to the public health director recruitment. I don't know how many applicants we have, but Prothman has been very thorough in addition to a very expansive recruitment process. They did send 700 direct mail invite letters, so maybe that will be fruitful in us finding a great replacement for Shelley and following Kurt's shoes. I have had some success this month with filling a couple of positions. Front desk, my reception was vacant for 6 to 8 months, and so we've got someone coming on board mid-March. And our risk analyst, we were really surprised. That's been very difficult to fill for, but Brian Bishop just started working this week, so we are very excited about that. He was with AWC, so he's got some really good workers' comp experience. And I have a meeting at 1:30 with a representative from WorkSource to talk about on-the-job training scholarships and work experience internships. So was doing some of that prior to the pandemic, so picking that back up. I have also signed up to be a mentor for Huskies. I got my bachelor's from University of Washington, and so I'm hoping that this fall I can bring in a student and do some interning there. And on March 17th, the HR team, project team, is meeting with our consultant on the class and comp project. So starting to develop the timeline and some more communications to come after that meeting. So unless there's any pressing questions, those are my major updates.
Thank you, Maria. Questions? I will say that I am a little, oh, Josh?
Nope, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I was gonna comment on her trip, on her upcoming trip. And how jealous I was that she's flying towards the sunshine. But that was about it. Josh, go ahead.
So Maria, speaking of the internship program, I'm trying to find the acronym here, but remember the gadget program that we were engaged in with Pac Mountain?
I do.
Is that something that might be on the table to reconsider, the helping the at-risk youth find a path towards employment?
I can look into it. I know that they suspended the program because of the pandemic. I just don't know if they picked it up.
Okay. That was, I mean, you know, it required work on our part, but it was exactly the kind of thing in terms of creating the pipeline for employment that we think is valuable.
Okay.
It also got to some of the applied DEI stuff as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll see if I can find the contact information and reach out to them.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here it is. It's Gainful and Dependable Education Training, Gadget.
Thank you. Okay, Robin?
I was just going to say that in central services, we are very interested in the opportunity for internship or apprentice type programs. It's something I'd started to look into a few years back. And there are challenges and barriers. If we could find a way to overcome them, I would love to implement something like that. So if you, any support or, you know, anything we could use to fill in the gaps, just let me know.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Maria. No, I want to comment on your meeting with Worksters. That's really exciting that you're meeting with them, and I'm hoping some great results come from that. And I know that it's something that St. Martin's reached out to me about possibly having internships in the commissioner's office or in my office, and I was very excited and told them yes. And so more to come on that. So it's exciting that we're all looking into these opportunities, especially with our youth. Okay, next on my screen, Marianne.
Good afternoon, everyone. Speaking of interns, my intern who has been with pretrial services for about 9 months, she's a second-year Masters of Social Work intern with UW Tacoma, is wrapping up her internship. We're meeting this afternoon to do her evaluation, and she's leaving us in Thurston County tomorrow. She's been a huge asset, and we're very appreciative of her and our partnership with the school. Also, I had a 30-year employee with Thurston County leaves pretrial services. At the same time, we onboarded this week, or are onboarding, I should say. Today is day 3 for my new pretrial services diversion officer. I will be bringing him to the Board of County Commissioners to introduce him later. And have also hired a new Resource Hub program manager who will be starting later this month. So there are lots of changes going on in pretrial services. Have been working with stakeholders and our technical assistance providers through APPR. Had some recent stats given to us as they analyzed some of our data. The number that stood out to me was that throughout COVID, 90% of the cases that were on preliminary hearings were ordered to pretrial services supervision during the Superior Court. That's just Superior Court. So that was something that was of interest and stood out to me. We also noticed, or have noticed, that since the beginning of the year, especially, the cases in district court have been increasing. So we've been seeing more and more cases ordering to supervision. That indicates that more people are being out in the community and on our supervision, and hopefully less likely to be in custody and compliant with their conditions. But that is a workload impact to my department. And we are cross-training my staff so that my pretrial officers are becoming familiar with our diversion procedures, and that's going to be hopefully of benefit as we move forward and begin processing our backlog cases from COVID. So I think that's the majority of what we've been doing.
Thank you, Marianne. And any plans for spring break?
Oh, my spring break plans. Already spring break.
Okie doke. Thank you. Questions for Marianne?
I'll be painting. That's what I'll be doing.
Okay. So next on my screen, it's Robin.
Good afternoon. So the spring break plans, as I was saying, my grandson reached out to me in a moment of weakness and said, "Nobody will take me to Disneyland. Will you when COVID's over?" And I said, "Sure." So I now have to make good on a grandma promise. And we're not going during spring break. We're waiting until the crowds end. He is a straight A student. So his mom said that I can take him out of school for a few days. So mid to late May, I'll take a week off and take him and drag his grandpa along with us. And off we'll go to Disneyland for a few days. He wants to be in the Star Wars part of the park. So should be a lot of fun with 11-year-old and his grandpa. On the work front in central services, we're currently, the big thing going on right now is all of the capital projects are picking up. So the work at the atrium, with the goal of getting everyone moved in the early fall. Then starting the work of pre-design on the campus, the courthouse campus, and all of these buildings. The board approved the purchase of a new building just yesterday, so getting that building ready to be occupied by public defense in the short term and determining the best use of it in the long term is going on now, along with all of the projects that the board approved in the budget. It is a lot of capital work where we had not been doing very much before. I'm down to 2 project managers, and one of those is about to retire. So we are searching for capital project managers without a lot of luck. And if you know anyone who has that kind of experience or where we should be advertising and looking to recruit, we're reaching out everywhere we can think of to bring in capital project managers. But things will stall if we're not successful in hiring someone. The budget team is currently working on the upcoming budget. The amendment, first amendment for this year is coming up, I think is due at the end of this month. And then doing the planning for the midterm adjustment. And we have a draft calendar that the board just approved. So we'll get the final calendar out very soon, along with the instructions for both those processes. So that's coming right up there. And we are already working with many of your departments and quite a few offices who have requests that they want to put in the system. So things are moving right along. What else? I think that those are the major things going on for us. The ERP is hot right now, the continuing response to COVID, and then working quite a bit on the emergency housing response along with Kurt and his team.
Thank you, Robin. Questions for Robin?
Robin, you got to, if your grandson likes baseball, you got to take him to an Angels game.
An Angels game.
Something you could not do in Florida.
There you go. I'll make a note of that. Thank you.
Okay. Ramiro, I'll go with you.
Madam Chair, thank you. Did I give the floor to Ben Miller?
Yes.
Please. Yeah.
I already did.
Oh, you already did. So that's one in the gap that I couldn't see anybody. Thank you.
Okay.
My apologies. So, spring break, my wife works for the Olympic School District, one of the elementary schools. So we're gonna have an extended weekend. We're not gonna take the whole week of spring break. So we're gonna go through one of the bucket lists and visit the Grand Canyon. So that will be fun. And it's interesting because we secured a mule ride. And so when she was exploring that option, you understand that going on a mule ride down the trail, there is a significant height difference between the bottom and the top. So I know the reason that I said that because she's not very, friendly with heights. So she found a mule ride that goes along the top of the perimeter. So we'll see how that goes. So we'll find out how the mule adventure goes. But anyways, that's the extended weekend on the Grand Canyon adventure. I will let you know how that goes. Certainly pictures. If I survive the mule, I can survive a board meeting, I guess. So in terms of there's a lot of stuff that's going on. It is seems like everything is every day is a different adventure, a different opportunity. All of you are involved in many different items. Related to the mask mandate, I really was hoping to send an email by today. And again, I just checked the LNI guide website, and yet still have an old guidance. So one way or the other, I will be sending an email tomorrow because I know the county employees are looking for some direction. So if we don't receive, and that was really my concern when the governor issued the new mandate, because LNI tends to lag on providing guidance. And we as a county and all the employers are in limbo because we're required to follow, LNI guidance. They haven't updated. And here we are at the set of expectations the governor issued by his order. But one way or the other, tomorrow I will be sending an email stating that what the governor stated. If any guidance changes, as soon as we receive with LNI, we'll keep them informed. But that's the only way that I can probably address some of the concerns that all of you have, as well as your staff. So I'll try to send that email tomorrow, the latest, on that regard.
Thank you. Questions for Ramiro? Quite proud today. Okay, so we'll go on with our commissioners. Commissioner Edwards, any updates you would like to provide?
Well, I'm not sure I have updates. Probably be working in the garden for spring break if I had to guess with my bride. But listening to all of the activities that all these directors are involved in, I just wish the public would really pay attention and listen in. It would be amazing. It's such a complex operation in the whole county team to make it function properly. I just want to thank folks for working hard. Hopefully we're winding down and headed back to normal. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Menser.
Going snowboarding for spring break. Think I'm done for this year.
Yeah, I think you're the only one who can joke about that, Commissioner.
But I am somebody was saying they're on the third time of trying to do a trip. So the last 2 Christmases, we were supposed to go to Methow Valley, and it had to get canceled 2 years ago because the governor shut down all restaurants and stuff. We decided it wasn't worth it. Then this year, my family all got COVID, and we had to cancel right before Christmas. So I had already had a deposit. So the only time I could find to slot it in was spring break. So we're going to Methow Valley I'm going to miss Ramiro completely. We're going to do the back end of the spring break week from like Wednesday to Saturday. So hopefully that's fun. I don't know if we'll be cross-country skiing or hiking. I don't know exactly what the weather is going to be or the snow there is going to be. We were going to go cross-country skiing and downhill skiing, but I don't know. We'll just be out of town. That'll be good, right? I don't really have any updates. I was in the hospital, and I was just a lot going on. Like Ramiro said, it seems like there's more kind of weighty issues before the board than I feel like there ever have been in the 4 years I've been on the board. So there's just a lot coming at us at all times. The docket items and the vaccine stuff and purchasing buildings and cost estimates for this and that and the other. And And Robin's got budget stuff starting up again. It's like, no, don't do that. So anyway, thanks to everybody. Keep your heads above water, and that's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Let's see. I do not have any spring break plans. I'm looking for camps right now for my daughter while she's going to be out of school. So that's been the adventure I've been trying to get on. And there's a lot of competition for these little mini camps. So it's been rough. Let's see. Other than that, I'm trying to think of any updates. Just like Commissioner Messer said, it's been kind of a whirlwind of a couple months. That's been a little bit nonstop. But I will echo Commissioner Edwards' words and say, thank you to all of you, because you are going above and beyond during this very difficult time. I appreciate all of you and everything you're doing. And yes, I wish the public knew a little bit more about what you do every day, because you really go above and beyond, and definitely grateful to you and to your staff and to your departments for everything they're doing. With that, are there any questions for the commissioners? No?
This is your time, directors. This is your time.
Okay, Josh.
Not a question, but thank you for the appreciation for the hard work of your staff here at Thurston County. While you elected officials are out in the community, please do relay the hard work that's happening. We rely on you to get the word out on all the complicated issues and make sure that we're receiving responses back from the community. CPED is engaged with the chamber and other residents, but you as the elected officials are really connected. So you getting the word out on our great work is appreciated.
Yes, thank you. Okay, anything else?
I'll just say, hopefully we can all see each other next month in April, on April 13th. Maybe we can be in the same room. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
whenever that happens.
That will be good to have an in-person meeting. For sure.
Whenever that happens.
And maybe have lunch.
I volunteered
guys in a
Jennifer.
while, so
Who's volunteering for lunch?
I
I'll do
volunteered
lunch.
Jennifer Walker.
Okay.
She's not here.
Yeah.
Well, she's taking an early spring break vacation. She's in Mexico right now, so.
Ah, nice.
Okay.
Hey, then I want taco bar then.
I was gonna say barbecue.
All good options. I'm down for either. Okay. Well, thank you all very much. And hopefully, yes, next month we'll be able to meet in person.
All right. Thank you.
That we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.